EDB.
Yeah. Hi there. Yeah, this is a kind of special talk because first I want to start with reminding you of something else. I want to thank Roland for also mentioning this in his opening remarks. We're in Amsterdam here, and 38 days ago, a software developer, Alex Pertsev, was arrested here. And he still hasn't been charged with a crime. He was arrested for contributing to the Tornado Cash privacy app on Ethereum. So yeah, that's something we would like to keep in the public eye and keep the pressure on the authorities to to make sure that they stop arresting people for simply developing software, which is just a violation of human rights and would also be terrible for the software ecosystem in the Netherlands. So I forgot to mention the website, but if you want to know more, please visit setlx3.nl. And there's also a petition you can sign there. I hope you would like to go there. So setlx3.nl. I would like to keep him in view. Starting with my talk, starting with another person which we don't like. That's Sybil. It's actually Sally Fields from the movie called Sybil, about a person with multiple personality disorder. Later it turned out that she was faking it, but cryptographers used her as to name the Sybil attack. I want to talk about Sybil resistance mechanisms, which is what Bitcoin and crypto is all based on, which is what makes it possible to have a decentralized consensus mechanism. People often talk about consensus as if proof of work and proof of stake is about consensus. The point is, the consensus is actually the easy part. The easy part is getting a group of decision makers who can agree according to the consensus rules. So please check out my Twitter account, because we had some good discussions this week about Ethereum moving to proof of stake. And I try to tell everybody that decentralized proof of stake as we have on Hive is actually a better, more secure system. So, and the thing, the reason I want to talk about this, it's not really that I want to change how Hive works. I'm worried about centralization in general. And actually, I was very impressed with all the projects yesterday from people who are starting their own apps and so on. And I have ideas for things I want to do on Hive, but I want to promise I'm not going to implement this thing. It's more a thought experiment, but a very important one. Well, this is why it's so important. We went through a 51% attack, a Sybil attack by Justin Sun, who bought up a large part of this team, Ninja Minecoins, and he made sure his friends at exchanges also gave him his Hive power. Here is this ad itself is also kind of Sybil attack, lying about the world's largest decentralized system. But we came out of this, but we got out of this by just moving to a different chain. But in general, I would like to do everything to prevent that something like that would happen. So, can you go? Yeah, about myself, I'm not a cryptographer, so I'm talking here as a blogger, a person who has experience with many coins, from Monero to Gaycoin to Hobo Nickels, but more seriously, blogging on Hive and using Monero for privacy. So. And I said I'm a low-tech person making a low-tech proposal. Centralization, you see that it's everywhere. In Bitcoin, the 3 largest pools have a majority. In Monero, we had one large pool, MineXMR, which was almost single-handedly reaching a majority. A month ago, they just quit without giving a reason. So you think we'd be more decentralized, but now we have 2 pools who have a majority. So proof of work and proof of stake just have centralization baked in, because once you use any kind of capital, whether it's financial or material, when you use capital as a proof of commitment to your system, capital will always accumulate. If you have lots of money, it's easy to get more. And if you have a large pool, it's more efficient. If you have a large farm, it's more efficient. If you have, especially in mining, when you have a large pool, the results will be more predictable. Now, Ethereum moved to proof of stake, so you think they improved. Here you see the development over time. Well, 2/3 of Ethereum validators are done through some kind of service. So people give their coins to a centralized service who stake for them. The largest 4 have a clear majority. Well, how did that come? I think this was really baked into the design. They simply tried to make it too secure. They really gold-plated it, as they say. Really, every improvement that Ethereum makes, from the 30 Ether minimum to long lockup, 1 or 2 years at start. We have more, the slashing risk, or the first people who started staking on their own node already got some small penalties for inactivity. You can get bigger penalties when you support different chains, different forks accidentally. So, Ethereum Ethereum didn't choose not to do delegation like we have, and as Decommon posted on Twitter. Having a system with a limited number of a specific number of witnesses is actually better, because what we have now in Ethereum is that only a handful of platforms decide everything. Yeah, one thing I want to remind people of is. Vitalik Buterin was nice enough to write about Hive, and he showed us as an example of social consensus. And I think I was really happy he took us seriously, because many people in crypto sort of overlook us. But I think he likes us for the wrong reasons. It was really a messy fight. We had to get rid of Justin Steam and Steam it. We lost some friends along the way. We lost a large section of the Korean community, for example. So I would like to do in the future to do everything to avoid getting into another civil war like that. Yeah, how is Hive centralized now? Well, here are stats from, here he is again, Mr. Assange. What do I say? Archange. Sorry, excuse me. Merci, Assange. Merci, Archange. You can see a majority of Hive power is controlled by whales. Well, how many whales are there? Well, it depends on how you count, but it's 2 or 3 dozen people. And should we worry about that? At the moment, no. I think actually, I would say if we had just kept the witnesses that Hive started with, if we had just quit voting, we just gave them all the power, it would still work. It would still work for the next 10 years. These are people who we can trust, who started the chain. So nothing to worry about in the short term. But you know, they might get arrested. They might not live forever. They might, they might use too much drugs and sell the coins or whatever. So that's why I proposing as a thought experiment, I'm proposing a low-tech solution. Let's add 2 other mechanisms which are more decentralized, but in a different way. And those are proof of authority and proof of identity. The system you get then is a form of hybrid delegation, where like 50% of the power is still for stakers, but like 25% would be for people who would be selected somehow. It could be selected by the developers, by stakers, by voters, or in any other way. People we know we can trust, we know who are experts. So those would have 25% of the power. And what's interesting is the timing, as you see. Proof of work is very suitable to use at the beginning for 2 reasons. One is it's very suitable for initial distribution. It's a fair system. If you want coins, you'll have to buy them. So, and the other thing is, if you limit the time, it will also limit the waste of energy. The third thing is that if you only have 1 or 2 years, they won't have the time to develop ASICs and large pools and so on. So, on the other hand, proof of identity is a system which requires building a community first. So that would come in nicely after proof of work is phased out. In more detail, proof of authority, of course, has a very low civil attack risk. Well, you know, unless you choose that one Solana developer who was anonymous and had 11 aliases, but in general, you know who these people are. It is centralized, but the centralization is not directly related to money, so it's different than proof of stake. This is already used for test nets. There were a number of Ethereum test nets, which originally they used mining for test nets, but that was unstable. So then they moved to proof of authority for test nets like Rinkeby and Coven. Now those are also moved to proof of stake. And some of these things types of authority are already used in blockchain systems. I'm not very fond of the institutional blockchains like Hedera Hashgraph or whatever they in the blockchain ecosystem. But you notice in DAOs, they're not really automated often. there is still a need for people to be delegates or people to run a multi-signature wallet in order to interpret the votes that are cast. Proof of identity is something that is probably more popular. You can give one person one vote, but it is difficult to implement. You'll have privacy concerns. Here, the Ethereum community is making good efforts. There's two apps I mentioned here. Bright ID is the more optimistic one, and Proof of Humanity is the more paranoid one, which I have a good reason for, because Proof of Humanity is tied to UBI coin, Universal Basic Income. When you're approved, you'll get money for nothing. And this all works with videos, showing that you're a human, getting confirmed by people you know. I wouldn't recommend using biometrics like eyeball scanning or government IDs or proof of address. This is a fun fact. Back in the days of early altcoins, when you had national coins, there was one project about Dutch guilders, and they said you can get free coins from us if you show us a utility bill from last month. The problem was people in the Netherlands don't get monthly utility bills. We get one settlement per year. So these weren't foreigners; these were students who had never paid their bills before. That's how serious some of these projects were. Anyway, I don't know where we're going. Oh, I skipped one. I have no idea. Yeah, we're already at applying this to Hive, in theory. The nice thing about Hive is we don't need to rely on such schemes with video attestation and so on. We already have what's called proof of brain. And I have to say, I never took that very seriously, because how much of a brain do you need to post a blog post? So, but yeah, we do have a system in which we know people not just physically but also online. We know what kind of contributions people make. We can say that we already have a how do you call it? This I have to mention. The system would work with voting tokens, who are non-transferable, so it doesn't turn into another kind of stake. I think they should have a long duration. A conservative system is a good way to stop attacks. It should not be unlimited duration. We don't want to create a new aristocracy. And this would also only be used for selecting witnesses. There wouldn't be any rewards directly tied to these tokens. So we don't want to make it too attractive to manipulate proof of identity, because I know there have been attacks in cases where tokens were distributed that people were just hired to register. We don't want to do that. So one thing to think about when you're tying power to certain metrics is Goodhart's law. Any observed statistical regularity will tend to collapse once pressure is placed upon it for control purposes. There's a famous anecdote of British in India who were, I forgot what it was, they wanted to eradicate snakes or rats, and people just started, the Indians were more clever, they started they started growing as many rats or snakes as they could. So, so what we don't want to do is give people a voting power for, let's say, their Hive Bus badges. And then, because then the collecting badges wouldn't be fun anymore. Then it would be, people would try and seek out the easiest badges they could score, and it would get abused. So what we do want to do is base voting tokens on metrics that people are already optimizing for, and which are already controlled by how do you call it, people who downvote abuse, like the trending page. I would simply give voting tokens to, let's say, the top 100 people in a month who get the most upvotes. I would even give voting tokens to the current witnesses, or to funded proposals on the decentralized Hive Fund. And yeah, you might wonder, do those things correlate with proof of stake? I'll have to find that out, but I don't think it matters very much. As I said, any conservative design is a good way to stop attacks. And in that way, I'm really opposed to Vitalik Buterin's approach, which is slashing and punishing people who make mistakes. My idea is when you're starting a blockchain, we can assume that you have a community you can rely on, and we want to enable that community to protect itself. That was my talk. So I wonder if anyone has any questions or comments.
Yes. Yes.
The attack that we were under from Justin Sun was enormously beneficial for us, because it allowed us to kill off our founders, which is the only way to become truly decentralized. Yeah. Bitcoin did it by, I don't know, Satoshi died, or Craig Wright, no one likes him, but the founder was killed off, and we killed off our founders. You have to kill your gods. But you have to kill. Ethereum is not decentralized. If Vitalik's arrested, if the Ethereum Foundation thing, it's not decentralized. So you're talking about avoiding attacks, but actually the attack that we were under has given us a unique advantage over almost every other blockchain. So why should we be worried about attacks when actually the only way blockchains, other ones are going to become decentralized, is to go through the sort of attack that we went through? So actually, it's good to be attacked and survive, because that's how you get independence.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you double your money.
So I'm asking you, why should you be so focused on protecting from attacks that actually the survival of them through community actually brings enormous benefit?
Well, I am happy that we got rid of the ninja mine, but yeah, that was a case of a system that was badly designed at the start.
True, that's true.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like to invite another of this fight, because yeah, they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But as I said, we also lost a lot of people, and yeah, it was something we had to go through, but not something. And it's not. And the conflict we went through with Ethereum. That was the irregular state change after the DAO hack. That was something which did not make it stronger. I think That was actually the reason I left that community. So I wouldn't say that any conflict is good.
Cool. Well, Edwin, thank you so much for introducing us to hybrid proof of stake, hybrid delegation. Thank you very much.